Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Been a little while, guys. Had this big plan to do all these reviews when I was in Virginia City last weekend with my brother-in-law Derek. Unfortunately, we just had a lot going on. Days were pretty much booked completely, so we didn't have a chance to get a review on. So I am going to be doing the reviews that we were supposed to get on there last weekend. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get them all on here, but hopefully I can get one on here right now. Maybe one during the week. We'll see how the week goes, and then get another one on here next weekend. So the first one I wanted to do is I want to do a little comparison between Elijah Craig, your regular Elijah Craig small batch, 94 proof. And this one here, this is the, you guys can see there's different corks in there. This is the Elijah Craig regular cork. And the barrel proof here, when I bought it, as soon as I popped it open, the cork kind of disintegrated on me. So had to kind of improvise and get another cork. So that's why kind of odd looking. But anyway, the barrel proof here is 136.8 proof. I believe. Yeah, 136.8. So it's going to pack a little bit of a punch. And by the way, this is batch C919. So there's one that I think is an A120, I want to say, that is people kind of covet a little bit. I think that might have been one of the first ones they did for the barrel proof. But anyway, this one here, the C919, is still very, very good stuff. You guys all know that I'm a big fan of Elijah Craig. I'm a big fan of Heaven Hill, period. But Elijah Craig, really good stuff. It's one that I always recommend to people. Whether it's people just getting into to bourbon, or veteran bourbon drinkers, like, hey, what can I try out? What should I try out? I always tell them, if, one of them that I always tell them is Buffalo Trace, but Elijah Craig is definitely up there on the kind of list of a few bourbons that I give them to try out. Really good stuff, guys. So Elijah Craig, we all know that the small batch used to come in a slightly different bottle, and it was a 12-year-old bourbon. They a couple years back, or a few years back now, switched it to a mix of 8 and 12-year-old barrels for the batch, which to me, I love that 12-year-old back a few years ago, but this one here, the mix of 8 and 12-year-old barrels, still very, very, very good. I don't feel like it lost a whole lot by them doing that. I know they need to, they needed to kind of put more quantity out, demand and all that. And that's kind of probably one of the reasons they did that. But so this is 8 and 12-year-old here, mix of 8 and 12-year-old. The barrel proof is still a straight 12-year-old bourbon. So pretty cool. On the side it says 12 years old, non-chill filtered. So that's about it, guys. You guys know the backstory of Elijah Craig. If you don't, look it up. Pretty interesting stuff. Elijah Craig, definitely a pioneer in bourbon here in the United States. So pretty cool. So we're going to pour. And by the way, guys, just to let you know, last weekend, my brother-in-law and I ran into an old friend of mine in Virginia City, and stuff got moved around, and there might have been a little too much imbibing that night, and my tumbler that I always use. I've got this Jefferson's one here, but the one that I always use, that I've been using since the beginning, died a tragic death. Busted all over the place, and gave it a burial out in the 6 Mile Canyon there in Virginia City. And it was just it was a sad day for me because I love that tumbler. You know, I took that thing everywhere. So anyway, that's why I kind of mix match the glasses here. So we're gonna pour the Elijah Craig small batch 94 proof into this glass right here. And then put the barrel proof in there. And as I said, guys, barrel proof is 136.8 proof. I know some of the other batches they've put out for the barrel proof weren't quite that high. I think one was 133.4 or something like that. So 136.8, no joke. So let's take a look at the color on both of these guys. And to be honest, at first glance, they're actually pretty close. They're pretty close. The 12-year-old here, the barrel proof, might be just a slight shade darker. You know, been in the barrel, you know, for a straight 12 years as opposed to a mix of 8 and 12-year-old barrels. So gonna have a little more char to it probably. But let's take a nose here on the 94 proof. All right, guys. So the 94 proof here, great classic nose. Got caramel, some vanilla in there definitely. A little bit of char. And like a slight bit, not quite like Jim Beam, but a slight bit of roasted peanut to it. So that's pretty much what I get for the Elijah Craig small batch 94 proof. Let's give it a taste. And again, that good, just good, clean, classic bourbon taste to it. Very good stuff. Again, more caramel on the palate there. Definitely some vanilla. A slight bit of char, but not a whole lot. You know, it's got some to it, but yeah, you're mostly getting. I mostly get the caramel and vanilla with it. Again, a slight nuttiness, slight peanut type note to it. Good stuff, guys. So take a sip of water here, and we'll try the barrel proof. Birds are having a field day today. It's been pretty nice. It's a little cool today, but you know, all the birds are out. We've had a lot of animals out. You can hear the coyotes behind the houses across the street. We have a big open field over there. So okay, let's check out the barrel proof here, guys. And right away on the nose, you just get so much more of that character coming out. I love the Elijah Craig barrel or small batch there, but with the barrel proof, there's just so much more character coming out with that higher proofing. You know, you get that deeper, a deeper caramel, almost a brown sugar type note to it. Definitely more char to it, being a straight 12-year-old bourbon. Definitely that vanilla's there. I'm not getting as much of the nuttiness as the original, but really, really good stuff here, guys. Good barrel char, really good stuff. Let's take a sip. And this is one of those bourbons that I love. It's right up my alley. You know, I've been kind of drawn to the higher proof bourbons for quite a while now. I just feel like they have so much more to offer. You know, that character just, you know, comes out, you know, when it's not diluted, guys, it's just for me a lot better. So sticking to the taste. And it's 136.8, so it's going to pack a little bit more of a punch for sure. But for me, it's one of those cooler burns. You know, it's not it's not one that's just going to kill you, in my opinion. But it just has so much more coming through for it. And you know, it's got some spice, guys, but it's more of a baking spice. The mash bill on Elijah Craig for both of these is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. So yeah, you might have a little bit of that rye spice coming out. I do taste a little bit of that rye spice, but for me, it's more of that baking spice, that cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg in there, and it's just all coming through. As good as the 94 proof small batch Elijah Craig is, it just comes through so much more for me in the barrel proof. Really good stuff, guys. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but for me, it's worth it. Take a sip of water here. And I will not be adding water to the barrel proof today, just because if I wanted to kind of dilute it or water it down a little bit, I'm going to stick with the 94 proof, you know, because the 94 proof is still good. It just, if I'm drinking barrel proof, I want to taste that barrel proof, you know. I want to taste how it was in the barrel, or as close as it was, or you know, as you can get to how it was in the barrel. Being, you know, not being diluted with any water, it's just more my kind of, you know, personal preference right now. So I'm gonna go back to the 94, taste it, give it a score here. Again, guys, great whiskey, really good whiskey. I will say this, as I said before, I recommend Elijah Craig to a lot of people, whether it's beginners or more experienced bourbon drinkers. If I was going to recommend one of these to a new bourbon drinker, though, I would probably go with the 94 here. It's, you know, and that's not a knock on anybody or the product. You know, the 94 proof I just feel is a good way to break yourself in. It is a good quality bourbon that isn't going to break the bank. You know, you can find it low 20s. This one I actually got, you know, Bottle Barn. They're closed down right now still, but hopefully they'll be open before too long. Anyway, they carry the Elijah Craig small batch here for $19.99 before tax. So we're talking $22, $23 after tax. Well worth it, guys. That's a steal of a deal for this bourbon. Really, really good stuff. So one more sip and give it a score, guys. Good, again, it's good stuff, guys. Really good stuff. You do get the notes that you want. Caramel, you know, that little bit of a nuttiness it's a nice note for me. I like it. You know, you get the vanilla, get a little bit oak in there. That's kind of yeah, that's pretty much, those are your dominant flavors. So I'm gonna give the Elijah Craig 94 an 88 out of 100. Good score, guys. Good solid score. B plus, really good stuff. For the price, shoot, I'd knock it up to probably a 90 for the price. It's hard to find a better bourbon for $20 than Elijah Craig small batch. So stick with the we'll split the difference right now, guys. I'll go 89 out of 100 for Elijah Craig small batch. All right. Okay. So the barrel proof here. just as I said, a lot more coming through, guys. You get more of the barrel char there, and more of a brown sugar type note, some good spice, you know, more baking spice than rye, but a little bit of rye in there too. The vanilla, there's just a lot of good stuff coming through with the barrel proof, and I mean, obviously it's the winner for me. I paid more. It was in the 50s, but to me it was worth it. You know, for if you have the extra money, go for the barrel proof. If you don't, go for the small batch here. And again, if you're newer to whiskey, to bourbon, go with the small batch. If you know, if you're a little more, you know, if you've been drinking bourbon a little bit longer, give the barrel proof a shot, guys. I think it's well worth it. Give it one more little sip and give it a score. Might as well kill it. Not much left in there. I'd give the Elijah Craig barrel proof a 94 out of 100. And I think it definitely deserves that score, guys. It's one of the better barrel proof bourbons I've had. You know, it's really, really good stuff. A little more expensive, I know, but definitely worth it if you can, you know, swing a few extra bucks. So, really good. 94 out of 100. Definitely try it out, guys. So, again, the Elijah Craig small batch here is, I gave it an 89 out of 100. It just, the barrel proof, though, just packs a little more of a heft. Brings out more of those notes that I really enjoy. That kind of, you know, that deeper char, vanilla, you know, deeper caramel, almost a brown sugar type note, and then those baking spices. I really enjoy that. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. 94 for the barrel proof, 89 for the 94 proof small batch. And that's going to do it, guys. Hope you're all doing well, hanging in there, and look forward to doing another review, hopefully in the next few days. So I look forward to your comments, guys. Talking to you guys a little bit. It's been a little bit, so it'll be nice to talk to you all again. But that's it for now, guys. Until next time, cheers.